Jaco the Clown lives in a delusional world. Each Tuesday, also known as Jaco Tuesday, he is released from the safety of the Acme Mental Hospital in order to host his own podcast show, See My Mind. Welcome to the show.
Greetings, dear viewers, and welcome to See My Mind, the greatest podcast in the world. I'm your host, Jaco.
Jaco, I've got a Gunther Zimmerman from the Berlin Philharmonic Orchestra for you on line 3. He says he really needs to speak with you right away.
He's probably calling to ask me back for a big concert featuring my triangle playing. Patch him through, Bobby. Is this Gunther?
Yes, this is Gunther.
Well, it's wonderful of you to call, and, well, I'd be delighted to sit in with the guys, for old time's sake, but I'm going to need my own charter jet and dressing room, and furthermore...
Enough! I don't know who you think you are, but I have a little warning for you, Mr. Jaco. The next time you claim that you were a member of the Berlin Philharmonic Orchestra, I'll show up at your front door and we'll have a little talk, you and me. Do you understand what I'm telling you, Mr. Jaco?
I'm having a little trouble hearing your words. Did you say you were from State Farm Insurance? We have a very bad connection. Besides, I'm with Jaco, and I'm sure my premiums are all paid up for this quarter.
Well, let me tell you what I'm going to do now.
Must have been a wrong number. Those insurance salesmen will stop at nothing to make a quick buck.
Jaco, I don't know what all that was about, but let's move to the hypnosis segment now. Get comfortable and close your eyes, and when you hear the snap of my fingers, you'll be deep asleep, but still able to hear my voice. And... Now, Jaco, I want to take you back to your days as a motivational speaker.
I inspired millions to simply get out of their own way.
How did you first become a motivational speaker, Jaco?
Well, it happened during grade school. Whenever I spoke, people would gather around me in large groups to listen and take notes.
How did you motivate them?
I would begin by tearing them down. Then I would build them back up. A technique I perfected and later used on my college tours and then on the big stadium stages.
What do you mean, tear them down?
Well, I'd prey on their vulnerability to render them defenseless. Then I'd show them the way out. Simple psychology, really. Quite effective.
Tell me about your stadium tours.
Well, for years I toured only the biggest football stadiums. I used lasers and smoke to full effect. Every tour had a theme. Every show was sold out months in advance. Those attending my shows called them magical.
What were some of your themes?
Well, my first tour was the You're Weak and Stupid tour. I followed that up with the What's Wrong With You tour. There were others. My last tour was the In Your Face tour.
So you stood on that huge stage all by yourself in front of that many people and motivated them?
Actually, I never stood.
You sat down?
Wrong again. My feet actually never touched the ground the whole time. I wore a special harness and flew above the crowd for my entire presentation, much like the spider cam on Monday Night Football. I had controls built right into it, and a wireless mic. I could fly to any seat in the stadium instantly in order to directly confront people over their weaknesses. Highly effective.
You would just pick somebody out and fly to them?
During my presentation, I used mental telepathy to identify those most in need, the weakest in the herd. I would pause my speech and then fly to them faster than you could blink. Imagine being in one of those massive crowds, and the next thing you know, I'm flying right at you from the other end of the stadium at 150 miles per hour, like the Wicked Witch, and I stop right in front of your nose, still hovering. Nobody was safe, and they all knew it.
Well, that sounds frightening, Jaco. Or was anybody scared?
Of course they were. We always sold out of our logoed adult diapers at the kiosk. But they needed those moments to break free of their bad habits. They were after results, and I delivered results. I directly confronted 200 to 300 people during each of my speeches. Yes, it got ugly at times. I was like a gut punch.
What did you say to them while you were hovering in front of them?
Well, it all depended on the person, of course, but generally speaking, I shamed them into submission, in front of the entire audience. People described my approach as raw and brutal, but unlike that hack Tony Robbins, I got results. It's all about results. Many tears were shed along the way.
You made people cry?
It's all part of the process of healing and moving forward, Dr. Smedley. They read the disclaimer on their ticket, and everyone signed a waiver. Of course, they could always just buy one of my motivational books and try to work it out at home.
You wrote motivational books?
3 in total, still in print today, all bestsellers.
What were the names of your books?
My first book is named Emotional Bleeding. It's what really put me on the map. My second book was entitled 187 Steps to a Better Life. My last book is called Failure is an Option.
That's just an amazing story, Jaco. Well, thank you for sharing it with me once again today. You created such a beautiful painting of your days as a motivational speaker, and I know you want to see it, so let's bring you back now. Okay, look deep into my eyes, and when I snap my fingers, you'll be on stage in your unveiling theater. And...
Thank you. Thank you. Please be seated. Good evening, everyone. Well, I'll never forget my days as a motivational speaker, filling giant stadiums with people wanting to learn my secrets. Well, it's now time for me to pull the cord to reveal my masterpiece painting entitled The Motivational Speaker.
And so it was. Please stay tuned for next week's episode of See My Mind, entitled Big Wave Surfer, starring Jaco the Clown.